Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Tonight's guest covers horse racing for Horse Racing Nation and the Daily Gallop. He's been on plenty of times before. The one and only Jeffrey Brynes. How are you doing on this Thursday evening?
Doing good, Madison. Getting ready for exciting 2 days of the Breeders' Cup, and should be a fun 2 days.
It should be a fun 2 days coming up. We'll start with the Breeders' Cup Classic. It's the biggest race of them all. We'll go 1 through 9, do what we usually do, the odds, and you give me a description on all the horses and whatnot. All right, the number 1 horse is Tripoli. The trainer, John Sadler, 15-1 on the odds, and then Irad Ortiz Jr. is the jockey. Tell us about Tripoli.
This horse is coming into the Breeders' Cup Classic in very good form right now. He actually, Tripoli, that is, he actually started his career on the turf. He actually has a very turf pedigree. He's like Kitten's Joy out of a mare by Tappet, so very turf-like pedigree, but he actually has performed much better on the dirt. 2 starts back, he actually won the Grade 1 Pacific Classic at Del Mar, so kind of a home track advantage for him. His last race, the Austin again, he was 4th in that race at Santa Anita. Got a wide trip, didn't really particularly come home very well. I think he'll much better appreciate the 1.25 mile distance this time around. His 2 starts on the dirt at Del Mar was 2nd in San Diego and then the win in the Pacific Classic. So despite the rail draw, you should get plenty of speed in front of him. So if he runs to his race to the Pacific Classic, is it going to be good enough to win? I'm not quite sure, but he definitely could be a horse that's worth picking in the exotics, fit, whether it's 2nd or 3rd.
Alrighty, next up is Express Train. Victor Espinoza is the jockey, and the trainer is John Sheriffs, 20-1. Tell us about Express Train.
Well, Express Train, this is a horse that's, they've actually been very consistent all year long. He's run 7 times this year. He's been on the board 6 times. Only bad run was actually was in the Pacific Classic. He was 6th in that race, a very troubled trip, very wide trip. I'm willing to throw that race out. He's 20-1 on the morning line, but actually it's a pretty nice price for him. I think he actually go a little higher than that. He won the San Pasqual Stakes at Santa Anita back in January. He did win the San Diego Handicap at Del Mar back on July 17th. So he's a very nice horse, very consistent horse. Is he good enough to compete against these horses, though? Not quite sure. Victor Espinoza, best known for being aboard American Pharoah on the Triple Crown, is aboard him. He's a good horse. I don't know, though, if he's quite up to the task for this one.
Alrighty. Ooh, this is a familiar horse. Hot Rod Charlie, 4-1. Doug O'Neill's the trainer. Flavin Pratt will be the jockey. Hot Rod Charlie, tell us about that horse.
Yes, this is a very familiar horse. He actually was on the Triple Crown Trail earlier this year. He was 3rd in the Kentucky Derby behind Medina Spirit. He was very game 2nd in the Belmont Stakes behind Essential Quality. So for much of his career, he was knocking on the door. And then he ran in the Haskell Stakes. He actually was the winner, crossed the line first, but was disqualified from that race for causing interference in the stretch. Actually caused the horse to fall over. Looked at the horse was okay, but he was disqualified to finish 7th. And then his last connections after the Haskell Stakes actually gave him a little bit of time off. They brought him back in the Pennsylvania Derby, and he by far ran the best race of his career. Went in front, set a pretty brisk pace, and just never looked back. He, over these last couple of months, and particularly in the Pennsylvania Derby, he has really grown up. He's really matured, and he is getting good at the absolute right time. His last 2 workouts I watched, both of them by far the best of his career. Worked a sharp 7 furlongs at Del Mar just the other day. Trainer Doug O'Neill's very happy with him. I think he's got a great post position. He can go to the lead, but I really think because of the other speed to his outside, won't be surprised if he actually gets 10th to the front, but won't be surprised if he's just off the pace. But he's in such good form right now. He has a very, very good chance of winning this race on Saturday.
Oh, I agree with you, and I think the next horse has an excellent chance as well. Essential Quality. That horse was around for the Triple Crown as well. Brad Cox is the trainer, and Luis Saez is the jockey. 3-1 on the board is Essential Quality. Tell us about Essential Quality.
Well, this horse probably right now, if the season ended today, would be the 3-year-old champion. He has been just consistent and just very good all year long. Of course, he was fourth in the Kentucky Derby after a very wide trip, but he's rounded off 3 straight wins. Of course, he won the Belmont Stakes, the third leg of the Triple Crown. Came back to win the Jim Dandy Stakes at Saratoga, and then his last race, the Grade 1 Travers. Probably one of his most impressive wins to date, despite it was only a win by 3/4 of a length, but his very game, very tenacious, and he's come out of that race so good, and just it feels like he's, once again, just like Hot Rod Charlie, he's coming into form at the right time. He seems to be loving the track right now at Del Mar. Luis Saez is going to be aboard him. He should get a brisk pace. He's more of a mid-pack type of horse, so if he gets the right pace from his stablemate Mexico, who we'll get to in a bit, and I think he'll be rolling late, and he's definitely going to be among the horses with the best chance to win on Saturday.
Yeah, next up is the favorite. You just mentioned him, Knicks Go. I love the name, but I don't know if I'll pick him to win or not. We'll find out in a little bit. Joel Rosario is the jockey. Brad Cox, that's his other horse. 5-2 favorite is Knicks Go. Tell us about Knicks Go.
Well, first off, for some reason, actually, the name Knicks Go is not named after the New York Knicks, which is actually very strange. Because,
It is.
I don't know, but it is. But apparently it's named after some town, I think in Maryland, but I don't know. Anyway, this horse actually is the defending winner of the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. He actually ran and won that race last year. The connections have tried to stretching him out more in 2021. He won the Pegasus World Cup at Gulfstream back in January. It took him overseas, finished fourth in the Middle East, then came back to the United States. Was kind of a lackluster fourth in the Met Mile. Trainer Brad Cox blamed those 2 poor performances because it was going 1 turn. They put him back around 2 turns, and he's rounded off 3 impressive wins in a row. In the Cornhusker Stakes at Prairie Meadows, the Grade 1 Whitney at Saratoga, and the Grade 3 Lucas Classic at Churchill Downs. This horse is training really, really well. He's been running at really lights out. He has plenty of speed. He should be the pace setter in this race on Saturday. Barring a bad stumble at the start, he will be in front early on. And Joel Rosario, his jockey, he's basically going to tell these guys, come catch me if you can. And if he uses that speed, he could go a long way. The biggest question for him is that he has never run at 1.25 miles in his career. So this is actually going to be a really big test for him. If he can get the distance, can use that speed right, everybody else could be running for second.
Yes, I agree with you about Knicks Go. Art Collector. Mike Smith is the jockey. William Mott, the trainer. 8-1 odds. Tell us about Art Collector.
Art Collector, he was a horse that was actually on the Triple Crown Trail last year. Unfortunately, he got sick and had to miss the Kentucky Derby. But he was a good 3-year-old. Has come back as a 4-year-old. Has actually been performing really well. He actually made a trainer switch from Tom Drury to Bill Mott. He's rounded off 3 wins in a row and actually has found new dimension as a pace setter. Went wire to wire with a win in the Alydar Stakes. He was just basically a little bit off the pace in the Charles Scott Classic, but came on and won that race. Then went wire to wire again in the Grade 1 Woodward. So this horse is coming into form at really the right time as well. His jockey, Mike Smith, will be aboard him for the first time. Mike Smith, a veteran of the Breeders' Cup, won many races. So good team between Mike Smith and Bill Mott. He'll be right there with Knicks Go up front. Does he have the capacity, though, to go 1.25 miles? That's going to be the big thing, though. Just like Knicks Go, he's never run this far before. This horse actually, if he can use that speed and can actually press Knicks Go, he could have a chance to hit the board, though. I'm not sure, though, if he has the capabilities of winning this race.
Yeah, we'll see about Art Collector. 7 is Stiletto Boy, 30-1. That's the longest shot on the board. Ed Moger is the trainer, and Kent Desormeaux. I don't know how to pronounce the last name. You're better at the that pronunciation probably than I am. Desormeaux with that EAUX pronunciation.
Kent Desormeaux.
Desmazzoro. There we go. Tell us about Stiletto Boy.
This horse actually was competing in the Midwest for much of his career, and actually came out to the West. He actually won the Iowa Derby. Then, after a couple of tries on the turf, he actually came back to the dirt. Was third behind Medina Spirit in the Shared Belief. That was second behind him again in the Austin again. Actually, it was a 50-1 long shot in that race. His last 2 races have actually been really good, and considering he ran at Del Mar in that previous start in the Shared Belief Stakes, I think he's gotten over the track well. His workouts have been really good, but he's going to need a really, really fast pace and an extremely tactical ride by Kent DeSormo. So if he's going to win this race, he's 30-1 on the morning line. I probably suspect it will come down a little bit, but it'll be a shocker if he wins this race.
Yeah, I agree with you right there. Medina Spirit, I like this horse a lot. 4-1, Bob Baffert. You know how I feel about Bob Baffert. The jockey is John Velasquez. Tell us about Medina Spirit.
Well, this is the horse that has caused a lot of controversy over the last 6 months, to say the least.
Yep.
Him and his trainer, Bob Baffert. Of course, we're still awaiting what the ruling is going to be for the Kentucky Derby results. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous at this point. It's been 6 months for crying out loud. But, obviously, other than the controversy aside, this is a really good horse. He really is. And his victories in the Share Belief Stakes and the Austin Began have shown that he's no fluke. And, he went wire to wire in both those races, but he's such a tough, grindy little horse. And he's really not all that big of a horse either, so. But he's come out of those 2 races well. He's shown that he can win over the Del Mar track. And I think he's, from the outside post, it's going to be really tough for him to match the speed of Nick Sco and Art Collector. Yeah, he's probably going to need a slight bobble from Nick Sco if he wants to get in front early. The biggest thing with Medina Spirit is he hasn't shown the capacity to pass other horses when he's not on the lead. So if he wants to win this race, he's probably going to have to come from off the pace for the first time. I mean, I've gone against this horse so many times that he still just keeps on winning. So he's absolutely a player to win this race. And it would not surprise me at all if he does win this race. So basically, leave him off your ticket at your peril.
Yeah, all right, and last but not least, Max Player. 8-1 odds. Stephen Osmussen is the trainer. Ricardo Santana, the jockey. Tell us about Max Player. I know this was a Triple Crown horse as well.
Yes, Max Player ran in the Kentucky Derby and Preakness back in 2020. Ran well in both those races, but he's come back and he's shown to be a much better older horse in 2021. After a couple first 2 starts of the year weren't really particularly good, but since the summer started, Steve Asmussen has really changed the tactics on him. He used to be a late closer type, stalker type of horse. Now he's a horse that will probably press to be on the lead. And it really has actually worked out for him his last 2 starts. He's winning the Suburban. He beat a couple of really nice horses named Mystic Guide and Happy Saver. Both those horses, really good older horses. In the Jockey Club Gold Cup, his first Grade 1 win at 1 1/4. Without question, the best performance of his career. Won that race going away by 5 lengths. Come out of that race well. He's been in California for a while now, so he's very accustomed to the environment. He's most likely going to need a fast pace too, but he's definitely going to be closing from the back of the pack. Steve Asmussen has won the Breeders' Cup Classic many times in the past. So this horse is going to be, he's 8-1 on the morning line. I could see him going off around 10-1. That's a very nice price to play at.
Yeah, Max Player might be a good value pick as the Colts score a touchdown to go up 20-7 pending the extra point here. Now we'll just go through the races. We'll start at Friday. And we got to do a win, place, and show at this race, and then we'll come back and do the rest. I forgot about that. All right. I'll have you go first. Let's start with win. Who do you have winning this race?
Well, this has really been a difficult race to handicap because it can go so many ways. But at the end, I'm going to go with Hot Rod Charlie. I just love the number 3 horse. I just really, really love the way he has run his last 2 races. Love the way he's been training. I mean, he's much bigger, much stronger, mature horse than he was a couple months ago. And I think this is his time right now. He's in such peak form. I think he's going to get a good pace to run into. He could even be on the lead, depending on how he breaks from the gate. But I just think he could win from on the pace, off the pace. I think this is his time. I think Hot Rod Charlie is going to be very tough to beat, and I can see him winning this race Saturday.
Yeah, that's a good call. I thought about Hot Rod Charlie, but I'm going with Medina Spirit. I know people are going to be like, oh, Medina Spirit was in all the controversy. But like you said earlier, he's a very talented horse. He's really, really good. He's been silencing doubters. I'm going to go with Medina Spirit for the win. What about the place? For
the place, I will go with the Essential Quality, number 4. His only loss was in the Kentucky Derby after that wide trip. I don't see him getting another wide trip on Saturday. Should get a good pace to run into with Nick Sco, Medina Spirit, our collector out front. The question is going to be if Hot Rod Charlie is in front of him, can he catch him again like he did in the Belmont Stakes? Hot Rod Charlie is getting the blinkers on. The central qualities that have run blinkers his entire career. Basically makes him much more focused, runs him much more straight. But I think I got a central quality finishing second in this race.
All right. My place, I'm going to go with Hot Rod Charlie, actually. I thought about picking Hot Rod Charlie for the win. I'll go with him for the place. I think Hot Rod Charlie's a good horse. He has a good chance to win, but I'm going to say he places. And what about the show?
My show horse, third place horse, will be the number 8 Medina Spirit. Like I said, he's always been a tough and gritty horse, and he brings his A game every time he runs. So even if he's on the pace, if he's just off the pace, I mean, he does not let any horse get by him. So I got Medina Spirit definitely is going to be in this in contention for the win, turning for home. Whether he's turning for home in front, whether he's just off of it, but he's definitely going to be a player at the end. So I have him finishing third.
All right, for the first time ever, I think we have the same top 3, but in a different order. I'm going Essential Quality third. Essential Quality, I think, has been there for all the big races, and I think that he'll come close, but I'm going to say that he comes in third. All right, let's go through the other races very quick. We'll just do the top 3. We'll start on Friday. I don't have, the first couple races. It says race 6. Do you have an explanation for that, or is that
Yes, I got you. It's race 6 on Friday. This is the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint. This is a 5 furlong race for 2-year-olds. Colts and fillies can run in this race. And for my top 3, this is a very wide open race. I actually went with the number 9 One Timer in this spot. He's 4-1 on the morning line. Jockey E.T. Baird for trainer Larry Ravelli. Horse that began his career in Chicago, Illinois, has run at 3 different tracks, won 3 different races. He is a very, very quick horse, and he should love this track configuration at Del Mar. So I got him 4-1 for my victor to finish first. My second place horse is the number 8, Averly Jane. This is a filly, an undefeated filly, actually. 4 for 4 in her career. Trainer Wesley Ward has practically owned this race the last 3 years. Averly Jane has won 3 stakes races in a row. She's probably going to be the post-time favorite. She's has very quick speed. The question is, can she hold off a horse like One Timer? That's going to remains to be seen. And my third place horse is the number 12, Run Curtis Run. He's 20-1 on the morning line, but he's 2 for 4 in his career. He made his turf debut in the Futurity Stakes, was second in that race. He was on the lead. Del Mar has shown that speed can be good on the turf. He's very live, and so I got 9, 8, 12 for the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint.
Alrighty. I'm gonna do win place show for this. I'm gonna go. Let's go 9 One Timer to win. Twilight Gleaming to place and to show. Let's go with another long shot horse. Twilight Jet. That's going to be my top 3 right there.
That's a good choice.
All right. Race number 7. This is a smaller one. The fillies. Tell us about this race.
Race number 7, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, 2-year-old fillies. Basically, we'll see an early preview of what we could see for the Kentucky Oaks, which is basically the filly version of the Kentucky Derby at Churchill Downs next May. So for this race, a small field of 6. So for this race, I went with number 2, Hidden Connection in this spot. Hidden Connection, 2 for 2 in her career. She's coming off of a very dominant victory in the Grade 3 Pocahontas Stakes at Churchill Downs. Very fast filly, a very quick filly. She's a filly by a stallion named Connect, who is a horse that gradually got better as he got older. So I think this filly has good speed. Should really appreciate the Del Mar surface. Jockey Raul Gutierrez, this is his very first Breeders' Cup mount, so he knows this filly very well. For my second place, I went with number 5, Juju's Map, who was the winner of the Grade 1 Alcibiades at Keeneland. She's another filly that has tactical speed and actually be on the lead, just off the lead. Ferrand Giroux, Brad Cox, they'll be teaming up in the Breeders' Cup Classic, or many other races as well. But this is another very tough filly, who could be in front turning for home, but she has to deal with the 6-horse Echo Zulu, who's probably going to be the pace setter. Because I think there could be a fast pace in this race, I actually went with number 3, Sequist, for my third place horse, my show horse. She's 15-1 in the morning line, but her last race was also in the Alcibiades. She finished third in that race, but she closed from a fast pace to get third. She's a filly who made her 2-turn debut in that race, but she very much appreciated it. And if she gets another brisk pace, I think she could definitely close out the trifecta.
All right, I'm going to go very chalky here with this. I'm going to go Echo Zulu for the win. Osmussen's a good trainer. I like the jockey Rosario, too. I like the Hidden Connection horse. That's your pick to win. I'm going to take it to place, and then I'm going to take Juju's Map to show. I know, very, very chalky there. Then we'll go to the Juvenile Phillies Turf, the G1T race, which is race number 8. So tell us about that big race.
Well, this is a very wide open field. The favorite actually for this race is the number 1, Pizza Bianca, who's actually owned by Chef Bobby Flay. This is really 5-1 in the morning line, so it's very, very wide open. Now, you actually could make a case for just about all of them, actually, for this 14-horse field. But in the end, I went with number 7, Consumer Spending, for the win. She's 2 for 3 in her career. Her last race in the Salima Stakes at Laurel Park in Maryland was extremely impressive. She closed into a very small pace, and her turn of foot turning for home was actually pretty breathtaking, to be honest. She massive stride, went by the horse like they were standing still. She came out of the race extremely well. Has been training great. Gets jockey Flavian Pratt, who one of the best turf riders in the country. 8-1 in the morning line, very generous price. So I'll go with her for the win. For my second place horse, I actually went with the 9, Koala Princess, for trainer Arnaud Delacour. She's coming off a win in the Ainsworth Stakes at Kentucky Downs back on September 12th. This is a filly who actually will be making her 2-turn debut in this race, going a mile. A filly by Morton and Ready out of a Lauderdale man, so definitely could handle the distance. They gradually been getting better. Her work's been really good. So despite the long layoff, she has a very big chance in this spot. And for my third place horse, my show horse, I went with number 6, Hello You, who's coming over from Europe. She's coming off a win in the Group 2 Rockfell Stakes in Newmarket in England. So she hasn't faced some really tough competition over there. She comes over, gets probably slighter, less competition here. So I think she'll be running late. John Velasquez, can't go wrong with him aboard. So I went with 7, 9, 6 for my top 3.
All right, I'm going to go Koala Princess 1. I just like Joel Rosario. He's a good jockey. I liked what the info you gave out about Koala Princess. I like that horse a lot. Number 2, I'm going to be a little different. I'm going to go California Angel. This is a grad horse. I think that this horse has a decent shot here. And then for the show, let's go with I'm going to take your horse, Hello You. I'm going to go Hello You for the show. The next race, race number 9, which is the Thoroughbred Aftercare Alliance. This is a big race as well. Tell us about this race and who are your picks.
Oh, this is the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. So basically, this is just like the Juvenile Fillies. This is another early preview of what we could see in the Breeders' Cup or in the Kentucky Derby for next year. So very big field of 12, and the post-time favorite, number 12, Corniche, trainer Bob Baffert, Mike Spitherboard, drew the far outside post, and he's a speed horse, so he's going to have to use a lot of energy to get to the front early, but he's a very talented horse. Overall, though, I'm actually going to go with a maiden here. I'm going to go with a horse who actually has not won a race so far in his career. That's number 10, Command Performance. For trainer Todd Fletcher, jockey Irad Ortiz. This horse, in his 2 starts, he actually came within a neck of winning his maiden race, his career debut. And that was second behind Jack Christopher, who's also in this race. But he was second and actually was coming on very, very nicely at the end. He's a colt by Union Rags out of a tap in there, so that he actually should very much appreciate this mile and a 16th distance. He's going to get pace to run into. There's lots of speed in this field. It has happened before at Del Mar where a maiden has won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile in the past. So I can see it actually happening again with Command Performance number 10. So I'll use him as my win horse. I will go with number 12, Corniche, for my second place horse. This horse was a $1.5 million purchase as a 2-year-old for Speedway Stables trainer Bob Baffert. He's 2 for 2 in his career. He won the Grade 1 American Pharoah very impressively on the front end. He's going to have to use his gate speed to get out in front early, but if he can get to the front, he could go a long way. But there's going to be a question of how much stamina he used early on. So I will use him for my second place horse, and my third place horse will be number 4, Papa Cap. Papa Cap, 2 for 4 in his career. He has a win over the Del Mar Surface in the Grade 2 Best Pal Stakes for trainer Mark Cassidy, jockey Joe Bravo aboard. He was second behind Corniche in the American Pharoah Stakes last time out, but I think this horse is definitely a 2-turn horse. He's training really, really well. I can see him rounding up the trifecta. So at the end, it's I will go 10, 12, 4 for my top 3 in this race.
Yeah, this is a good group. I'm going to take your pick with the 10-horse Command Performance for the win. Pletcher's a good trainer, and he usually has his horses ready to go. Second, I'm going to go with Barrasso. Let's go with the longer shot here of a Bob Baffert horse here, another grad horse. And then I'm going to go for the show. Let's go with the other Baffert horse. Actually, there's 3 of them, but I'm going to go with Corniche, who's another grad horse. That's a 5-2 on the money line. All right, now we'll go to race 10, which is the juvenile turf race. This is 16 deep, this race.
Yes, this is a massive field. It's a field of 14. There's 2 also eligibles, the 15 and 16. If Ready to Perform or Detroit Street, the 15 and 16, the only way they're eligible to run in this field is if one of the 14 in front of them scratch. Haven't really gotten the sense that one of them will scratch. So right now it's a field of 14 for this race. My top pick for this race is number 1, Modern Games. This is a horse coming from Ireland. Jockey William Buick, trainer Charlie Appleby. He's won 3 of his last 4, including the Grade 3 Somerville Stakes in Newmarket in England. He gets the rail draw, which kind of could be good or bad depending on how he is. With these Europeans and other foreign runners, they're gonna get much firmer ground than what they get over in England. Usually they run on soft to good ground. Firmer ground when the turf is much more dense is much better to run on. I think it's going to really help a horse like Modern Games. William Buick aboard, a very veteran jockey, won many Breeders' Cup races in the past. So Modern Games will be my top pick. My second place horse will be McKinnon, the number 6 horse for trainer Doug O'Neill, actually owned by Eric Johnson of the Colorado Avalanche. Actually, this horse is actually named after his teammate, so Nathan McKinnon. So
that makes sense.
Sure, there's plenty of rooting interests in Colorado for this horse. And he's actually a really nice horse. 3 for 5 in his career. They actually tried him sprinting to begin his career. Didn't quite work out, but since stretching him out and turning him over to the turf, he's won 3 in a row, including a stakes race at Del Mar at this distance, and he'll be running on Saturday. So this is a horse who is training really extremely well. Juan Hernandez looking for his first Breeders' Cup win. Doug O'Neill really likes the post position, so I think he's got a live chance of winning this race on Saturday, but I got him finishing second. And my third place horse would be number 4, Tiz the Bomb. This horse has won 3 straight, including the Grade 2 Bourbon Stakes at Keeneland last time out. This horse actually started off his career on turf. They went to the dirt. Actually won his maiden on the dirt by a very wide margin. So he's actually a very versatile horse. You won't be surprised if we see this horse on the Kentucky Derby Trail next spring. But they're going to try him on turf on Saturday. He's going to need pace to run into, but if he can get into the clear, he's got a big shot as well. So another wide open race, but I went with number 1, Modern Games on top. So 1-6-4 in the juvenile turf.
Wait a minute. So what horses you said were scratched from this race?
So how it works is the 15 and 16 are also eligibles. Basically, that means they're going to need one of the 14 who are currently entered right now to scratch from that race. Otherwise, the 15 and 16 would not be eligible to run.
Okay, that's how that goes. I thought you said that there was 2 scratches. All right, my winner, I'm going to go with McKinnon. Why not? Good trainer, good jockey. I kind of like the vibes of McKinnon. I think that horse has a shot. For the place, let's go Dakota Gold. That's a decent horse. And then I'm going to go Modern Games for the show. So for me, it's going to be 6-3-1, not 6-4-1. Then it would be the same top 3 as you. Saturday, we're on the Saturday now. Race 4, 6-horse race. The Filly and Mare Sprint. Tell us about that horse race and who do you got?
Well, it's a 6-horse field, but it looks like it's going to be down to 5. The number 2, Estilo Talentoso, it looks like it's going to be scratched from that race, so it's only a field of 5. But actually, it's a very small field, particularly because of one reason. Number 5, Gamine. This filly for Bob Baffert is, what's the right way to put it? A monster. This filly has only one loss in her career, and that one loss was going 2 turns in the Kentucky Oaks last year. But she has won 5 races in a row. She's the defending champion of this race. Her speed figures, while this year have not quite been what they were last year, she's still a really, really talented filly, a really good filly. But despite the short field, I'm going to try to beat her in this race. I'm going to go with number 6, Bella Sophia, for trainer Rudy Rodriguez in this spot. She, just like Gamine, has very good speed. I'm sure the connection would have loved to have been on the inside of her instead of on the outside. But I don't really think it's going to matter all that much. Bella Sophia could show tactical speed early on. If she gets in front and uses it, she could go a long way. Del Mar is known for being kind of a speed favoring track at times. For my second place horse, I will go with Gamine. I mean, honestly, I'm just trying to beat her in this race. I think she's, without question, the class of this field. It's going to take a monster effort from Bella Sophia or somebody else to beat her. But, we're trying to, get some long shots in here. So, and my third place horse, I would go with number 4, Cece, for trainer Mike McCarthy. This filly is actually 3 for 5 so far in 2021, including a couple of stakes victories, including last out in the Killingworth Stakes at Santa Anita. She'll be coming from off the pace. She's probably going to need a pace meltdown, really, to have a chance to win. So I'll go 6-5-4 in the Filly and Mare Sprint.
All right, we have the same top 3, except I'm going to throw a curveball. I'm going to pick CC to win. I love Victor Espinoza. He's a great jockey. I think he's my favorite jockey. And he's a good trainer as well. Gamine, I'm going to go second. And then Bella Sophia third. Next up is the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. This is race 5. There are, it says 18, but it's only going to be 14, barring some scratches. Give us your top 3.
Yeah, this field of 12, big field for this race. I'm going to go with the number 4, Lieutenant Dan, in this race. Lieutenant Dan is a California bred. He's 3 for 3 so far in 2021, including a win in the Green Flash Handicap at Del Mar just a few months ago at this distance. So has run very well over the Del Mar track, very accustomed to it. This horse is going to need pace, and he's certainly going to get it. There's a lot of speed in this race, particularly to his outside. I think he's got a good post for post number 4. He's 6-1. Definitely a good play there. For my second place, I'm going to go with the 3, Golden Pal. This horse won the Breeders' Cup Juveniles Turf Sprint a year ago at Keeneland. He's a very, very quick horse. He's 2 for 3 this year. Wins at Saratoga and Keeneland. The connections took him overseas to York and Ireland, but didn't quite work out. He's come back to Keeneland, and it's like he never left. He won the Woodford Stakes to underhand. But I think he's going to get a lot more pace pressure, and I can definitely smell an upset for this race. So that's why I went with Lieutenant Dan in that spot. And my third place horse will be number 10, Gear Jockey, 5-1 on the morning line. This horse competed in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, actually, in 2019. Finished third. Did it as a maiden. It actually took him 2 years, not until January 2021 to break his maiden, which is actually a very long time considering he ran the Juvenile Turf in 2019. But since that maiden win, he's actually won a few more races, including the FanDuel Turf Sprint at Kentucky Downs. The connections have really found a home for him turf sprinting. He's a closer. He's going to need pace. He's going to get the pace. He'll definitely be flying late. So it will be 4-3-10 for my trifecta in the turf sprint.
All right, I'm going to go with 3 for the win. Golden Pal. It's a grad horse. I like that horse a lot. I'm going to go with the 9 horse in the place spot and in show. Let's go with Glass Slippers for the show. So for me, I'm going to go 3-9-1. Next up is the Big Ass Fans Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. Fun name to say there. Eight horses in this one, so this is a little bit of a smaller race. Who are your top 3 here?
Well, this is a good race. Another one that has lots of speed. This field speed is very good at Del Mar, particularly at the 1 mile distance. I'm going to go with number 1, Silver State. This horse who has really come into his own in 2021. He's 4 for 6 so far. Even though he's lost his last 2 races, but maybe the great one, Whitney, where he was defeated by Nick Sco, who was running in the Classic, probably was maybe a little bit too far for him. The Parks Dirt Mile, I mean, that was such a strange race to watch. If you go back and watch that race, turning for home, he took the lead and looked like he was going to pull away, but then for some reason he just basically stopped. Like basically the horse himself, he pulled himself up as if like, oh, I got this race won. Well, I will just take it easy. And then the horse to his inside, I passed him again, and he actually lost, finished second. So connections are definitely hoping that doesn't happen again. But he's very, very talented. He gets an inside post. He's going to get a good speed in front of him from the 5 Life is Good, the 3 Ginobili, the 8 Rings on the outside. So if he runs actually to his last race without pulling himself up, he definitely will win. I think can win. For my second place horse, I'm going to go with the number 5, Life is Good. Aptly named horse. I love the name actually. But this horse actually started his career with trainer Bob Baffert. He won the first 3 starts: the Grade 3 maiden race, the Grade 3 Sham, and the Grade 2 San Felipe Santa Anita. He was actually probably going to be the favorite for the Kentucky Derby had he actually stayed healthy on the trail. Fortunately, he got hurt after the San Felipe. He missed some time. And then after the controversy with Bob Baffert, he actually was transferred away from his stable to Todd Pletcher in the East Coast. And he returned in the Grade 1 Alan Durkins. Looked like he actually probably should have won that race, but his jockey Mike Smith's probably a little overconfident in that race. And Jackie's Warrior was running in the sprint, who gets to a little bit past him and ended up winning. And then the Grade 2 Kelso, he was basically a walkover. He won that race for fun. So very good horse, going to have lots of speed. The question is, can he hold it up? That remains to be seen. So he's my second place horse. My third place horse will be the second Steve Asmussen runner in the race, Snapper Sinclair. He's 2 for 5 so far this year. His only off the board finish was a 4th in the Godolphin Mile in Medan in the Middle East. Since returning to the U.S., not worse than second in 3 starts. I think the 1 mile configuration at Del Mar will be really good for him. Always a consistent runner, so he definitely should get up in the trifecta. So 157 for the Dirt Mile.
All right, for the Dirt Mile, I'm going to go 5, Life is Good. I'm going to go with 3, Ginobili for place, and then the show we'll go with Silver Slate. So for me, 5-3-1. The Life is Good story I think is really good. I think that horse is going to be motivated, especially going against the Baffert horse. I just have a feeling that horse is going to be a little motivated. Race 7 is the Maker's Mark Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf. How many horses here? There's 12. So give us the win, place, and show picks of yours.
Very competitive race. Field of 12 going in here, but I'm going to go with the Japanese runner in here. I'm going to go with number 8, Loves You Only. This filly, despite she's 6 for 14 in her career, she's 2 for 4 this year. Never worse than third. She's run in Japan. She's run in the Middle East and Dubai. She is a world-class filly. She is running against some of the best. I mean, honestly, I think compared to what she's facing on Saturday, actually could be a little lighter than what she's been facing in Japan, which is kind of scary if you think about it. But Loves You Only, definitely the class of the field, in my opinion. And Japanese runners on the turf have actually had a really good record at Del Mar, so I don't see that changing. She's got a very fast turn of foot turning for home. I think she could win this race for fun, but it's a Breeders' Cup. Anything can happen, but I like Loves You Only, the number 8 for the win. For my second place horse, I like the number 6 Love for trainer Aiden O'Brien, jockey Ryan Moore. This really has fallen as she started off her career really well. She won the English 1000 Guineas, which is based, and the Investing Oaks in England, which is basically England's version of the Kentucky Oaks last year. She won the Prince of Wales earlier this year at Royal Ascot, but kind of has fallen off of form a little bit. I think the trip to America certainly is going to help her as the competition gets a little bit lighter for her compared to what she faced over in England. Ryan Moore, Aiden O'Brien, these two have won a lot of races together in the Breeders' Cup, so I think Love will be my second place horse. My third place horse, my third place horse would be number 7, Warlike Goddess. I think she represents the best of the Americans in this field. She's 7-2 on the morning line. Julian Leparoute aboard. She's only run 5 times this year, but she's won 4 of those races, including 4 in a row. Won the Grade 1 Flower Bowl at Saratoga last time out. So I think she definitely has a very, very good chance. She probably could go off as the post-time favorite, but I got her finishing 3rd in here. So I got 8, 6, 7 for my trifecta in the Philly and Meriturf.
All right, I'm going to go with Love for the win, the Irish horse here. Number 2, the place. I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to go with Going to Vegas. I just have a feeling that somebody weird is going to place in the top 3. And then I'm going to go Loves You Only for 3rd here. Next up is the Qatar Racing Breeders' Cup Sprint. This is race 8. There are 9 horses. Give us win, place, and show.
Well, if you like speed, this is your race. There is a lot of speed in this field. You got a couple of 3-year-olds in here who have a very good chance, but in the end, I'm going to go with number 2, Jackie's Warrior. This horse is just wickedly good right now. He's 4 for 6 so far this year. He's only lost once going around one turn this year. That was after stumbling at the start on the Grade 1 Woody Stevens on Belmont Day back in June. He's won 3 in a row since. All 3 basically of, his win in the Alan Jerkins was the hard-fought victory over Life is Good. His last run in the Gallant Bob was basically a walkover, was a laugher. But he's so good right now. He's been in California for a while. Very fast spreader, very special horse for Steve Asmussen. I think he can get to the front and he can take his speed a long, long way. He's very game, very tough on the front end. Probably could be the shortest price favorite on the day, considering how he's run his last few starts. So I will go Jackie's Warrior on top for the win. My second place horse, because there's a lot of speed in this race, I like a closer. So number 6, Firenze Fire, will be my second choice at 10. He's 10-1 on the morning line, 2 for 6 so far this year. This horse is actually running in his 5th straight Breeders' Cup. He ran 2017 to 2021. He's now going to be running in the Breeders' Cup. Very tough, very game horse over the last 5 years. Saturday will actually be his last career start before heading off the stud. So it would be nice if he went out with a victory. He's a very popular horse among the fans. So 10-1. He's going to need pace. He's going to be probably turning for home close to the front. So we'll see what happens with him. And my third place horse will be number 8, Special Reserve. Trainer Mike Maker, Irad Ortiz Jr. aboard. And this horse, who has really come into his own since going to trainer Mike Maker, hasn't been worse than second so far in 2021. Has a couple of stakes victories under his belt, including the Phoenix Stakes, the Keenan last time out. He's a closer, so he will definitely get the pace that he needs to run into. So I got him finishing 3rd. So at the end, I will go 2, 6, 8 for my trifecta.
All right, I'm going to throw a curveball at you. I'm going to take Aloha West for the win. The grad horse,
okay.
Jose Ortiz. Just throwing a curveball at you. Second, I'll do Jackie's Warrior. That's the favorite. I think that horse will have a great race. And then I'll take your pick for the show for Special Reserve. I like that horse as well. I like Michael Maker, good trainer. Race number 9 is the FanDuel Breeders' Cup Mile presented by PDJF. There are 16 horses, but really 14 barring some scratches that 15 and 16 can come in. Give us your top three here.
Well, again, this is another very wide open race. Certainly, we love wide open races in the Breeders' Cup, but I'm going to go with number 7, In Love. 8-1 on the morning line. This horse coming to the West Coast for the first time, but is really in good form right now. He's won 3 straight races, including the Keeneland Turf Mile, Grade 1 last time out. From off the pace, won that race very, very impressively. Very good form right now. He's got a good post position, so he should get some pace to run into. I think his trainer Pablo Lopo, very popular around the Midwest. So I got him on top for the win. My second place horse will be the number 3 Space Blues for William Buick, trainer Charlie Appleby. He's won 2 in a row, including a Group 1 in Longchamp last time out in Europe. This horse could be close to the pace. He's going to get much firmer ground. I think definitely a deserving favorite because he's probably the best of the Euros coming over for this race, definitely. And my third place horse will be number 2, Smooth Like Straight. For trainer Mike McCarthy, 10-1 on the morning line. Has not been off the board at all this year. In fact, he's only been off the board twice in the last couple of years, actually. So he's a very consistent horse. He has 3 straight second place finishes. So it shows he's definitely should be around at the end. Should be among the pace setters. So in the end, I will go with 7-3-2 for the my trifecta.
Very funny with the win place show with the numbers. They're very coincidental. All right, so for me, I'm gonna go with the win. That's too funny. Oh my god. Number 1 for the win, I'm gonna go 3 Space Blues. I think that is in one of the better European horses out there. So I'm gonna go with the 3 horse for the win. Let's go blowout for the place. I think Chad Brown's a good trainer, and then the 3 for the show. Let's go. I'm gonna take your pick, In Love, for the show. Next is race 10. So we have 2 more to go. This is the Longines Breeders' Cup Distaff. There are 11 horses in this race. Oh my god, I'm still laughing. Give us your win, place, and show here.
Totally understandable. I got you. All right, in the Breeders' Cup Distaff, very good field. Really good field, actually. There's a clear standout with number 6, Latruska, but 8-5 morning line favorite. But I'm going to try and go for an upset here. I will go with number 3, Malathot, for trainer Todd Fletcher, jockey John Velasquez. This filly was the winner of the Kentucky Oaks back in late April. This filly has really been rounding up the form and getting better as the year has gone on. Her last race, although it was on August 21st, which seems like a while ago, she actually runs better when she's off a layoff. So I think it's really shouldn't be a problem for her. But her workouts look really strong, and she is in really, really good form right now. Definitely the best 3-year-old filly in the country, to say the least. She should get good speed in front of her with the Truska and Private Mission to her inside. As long as she sticks in the clear and makes a run, I think she definitely can get up late. My second place horse will be number 6, Latruska, as I mentioned before. This filly definitely has she's had a really, really good campaign. Could be in line for Horse of the Year if she can win this race. She's won 5 in a row coming in, including 4 Grade 1 races. Coming off of a win in the Grade 1 jump on Sprinter at Keeneland last time out. Had a pretty unorthodox workout last time out. I really don't think it's going to be a problem for her, but as long as she raced well, gets to the lead, everybody's going to be trying to catch her if they can. So I will go Latruska for second, and my third place horse will be number 8, She Dares the Devil, who actually is the only horse to beat Latruska in 2021. She Dares the Devil was the Kentucky Oaks winner in 2020, so she's very highly thought after horse, very talented, always a good filly. But, she beat Latruska in the Grade 2 Azeri Stakes all the way back in March. And that was Latruska's only loss of the year. The biggest advantage for She Dares the Devil is she actually has a Grade 1 win in the Clement L. Hirsch over the Del Mar track. So very, very big advantage for her. She's training extremely well. Laurent Giroux, Blackhawks, those two have teamed up and won a lot of big races together. So So in the end, I will go with 3-6-8 in the Breeders' Cup this time.
Alrighty, for the win, I'm going to go with the favorite, Latruska. Great jockey. You gave out all the reasons to like Latruska. For the place, I'm going to go She Dares the Devil. That's a grad horse, a Kentucky horse. Brad Cox, great trainer. And then I'm going to throw a dart here for the show. I'm going to go As Time Goes By, Bob Baffert horse for the show. And then last but not least, race number 11, the Longines Breeders' Cup Turf. There are 18, but it's really going to be 14, and some of the other horses can get in, barring some scratches. Give us your top three for this one.
Well, the first off, to start off, there are a couple scratches in this field. It was announced earlier today that the number 2, United, and the number 3, Domestic Spending, are both going to be scratched from this race. Number 3, Domestic Spending, that's a big loss because he probably was going to be the favorite at post time. He was a very talented horse, very unfortunate he scratched. So the 2, United, the 3, Domestic Spending are both out of this race. So that means the number 15, Bolshoi Ballet for Ryan Moore, Aiden O'Brien are going to draw in, as well as the 16 horse Channel Maker for Luis Saez and trainer Bill Mott. So those 2 are now in with the United and Domestic Spending out. But I don't think in the end, though, I went with number 7, Walton Street, for James Doyle and Charlie Appleby for the Godolphin Racing. This horse, very consistent in his career overseas. He went up to Canada in the Canadian International and just really decimated a field in the Group 1 Canadian International. Won that race by 5 3/4 lengths as the post-time favorite. Ran extremely well over that track. Even though it was kind of it rained the night before, but he's not gonna get rainy weather this time. Should be get a firm, good turf course. He's gonna get pace to run into, I think, from Big Pack. He's definitely one of the big classes of the field. So 8-1, very generous price. So I don't know, it could come down, but I won't be surprised if it's just right around there at post time. So number 7, Walton Street, will be my win pick. For my second place, I'm gonna go with number 11, Gufo, for trainer Christoph Coman, jockey Joel Rosario. Not worse than third, actually, at all in his career, in his 13-race career. Very consistent. He won the Group 1, the Grade 1 Sword Dancer at Saratoga at this mile and a half distance. Had a bit of a trouble trip last time out at the Joe Hurst Turf Classic when he finished third, but I think he's going to get a better trip this time. He's also 8-1 on the morning line. I think could come up a little bit because now with the scratch of Domestic Spending, he'll probably be the best of the Americans in this group. That's a big loss, honestly, with Domestic Spending. But Gufo, definitely a talent in his own right. He's definitely going to be around at the end. And for the my third place horse, I will go with number 13, Tarnawa, the mare in this race, the 5-year-old mare, defending winner of this race. She's been an ultra consistent filly throughout her career. She's coming off back-to-back second-place finishers in the Irish Champion Stakes and the Arc de Triomphe in France, which is basically the biggest race in Europe, is the Arc. But very good form right now. She's 9-5 morning line. She could probably be the post-time favorite right now. But ultra consistent filly. The post 13 concerns me because it is a very wide trip from out there. But I think she definitely has the class to be around at the end. So I will go 7, 11, 13 in the Breeders' Cup Turf.
Alrighty, so I'm going to go with Tarwana for the win. So 13 for the win there. Tarwana's the favorite. I like their chances. Number 2, so the second place, I'm going to take Gufo. Joel Rosario's jockeying that horse. And then for the show, let's go with Teona, the European horse, Teona, for the show in that one. All right, before we go, tell us what's next for horse racing after the Breeders' Cup.
Well, after the Breeders' Cup, there's still plenty of good racing around the country, particularly Thanksgiving weekend. There's a couple of big Grade 1 races at Aqueduct, the Cigar Mile, up there, a couple older horses, and you could see actually a couple of Breeders' Cup veterans up there. There's also at Churchill now, it's a Grade 1 Clark, where you could see more Breeders' Cup horses, could possibly see Central Quality or Nick Sco possibly in there for one last start of the year. Belmar has a turf festival, bunch of Grade 1 races, where you could see even more of these Breeders' Cup veterans come back in those spots. So plenty of good racing to close out 2021.
That's for sure. Alrighty. Unfortunately, we couldn't get to some of the other sports in rapid fire, but maybe we'll save that for next time. Maybe I'll have you on in December, or maybe even late November if anything comes up or whatnot. It was a pleasure to have you on as always, and I hope you have a great night.
All right, thank you, Madison. Always good to talk to you.
You too,
Thank you.
Jeff. Have a good one.